Hey everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're going to do what's on the table, kind of talking about the 21st Panzer Division for Flames of War and kind of my assembly process and progress. So this what's on the table maybe goes in a little bit more depth, but we'll talk about it. So you may have seen my unboxing of the new 21st Panzer box set, anniversary box set for Flames of War that just came out. It contained a lot of old models. They did advertise that they were remastered. Not having possession of the old models, I haven't been able to verify that or see, but overall very pleased with the box set. The box set almost gets you a full army for Flames of War, and you could probably squeak by and use it as a force, but it's not optimized, so I did have to add some additional units to my potential 21st Panzer list or collection so that I've got some things to swap out and make the formation not so brittle. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So first we're going to talk about the models and my painting process. Keep in mind I'm not the best painter, but I paint to a standard that makes me happy and also that I can do in a fast amount of time, or quickly, so that I can get a formation or a list onto the table in a somewhat respectable amount of time. Okay, so most of these models obviously start out as either plastic or metal and resin. The 21st Panzer, I think everything was metal and resin in there, and the assembly, I talked about that in my review, went together just fine. That said, once you've assembled them, you've got to base coat them. So I base coated everything. I sprayed it all black, and then I took it to my airbrush booth and airbrushed Vallejo Middlestone on to the models, which gets me to this stage. So this was black, and you can kind of see some of the overspray from the bottom. You can still see some of the metal, which is going to be okay for what we're doing. But you can kind of see the black and then the overspray of, again, Vallejo Middlestone. I guess you could have used dark yellow too. From that, then I gave the units a hand-painted camo for the most part. So for example, this one, I did some hand-painted just green on the model. Once the hand-painted stuff was down, I put a gloss coat on and applied the decals. So you can see the decals there. And then once the decals were dry, I applied another coat of varnish on top of the decals to kind of protect them. Then in this case, I experimented with giving them an oil wash. So these have an oil wash applied, and you can kind of see some of the dirt and grime along the top of these little nubbins that stick out. It just gives it a nice and easy way to weather. Now these still have their gloss coat on because I applied the wash. I could actually still go in here with some mineral spirits and a brush or a Q-tip or whatever and remove more if I wanted to, or add more. At this stage, it's very malleable process, even though these were painted, a day ago. These ones I kind of just experimented with some airbrush coloring. I wanted to, some of the pictures had like a brown splotch and then a green splotch inside the brown splotch. So I wanted to try that with my airbrush. I'm not sure if I like the effect, so these ones might get repainted. I might just try to highlight the green a little bit more. But the key with the 21st Panzer, and probably just Germans in general, is that camo that's applied is going to be very different across the force. They're not going to be consistently painted camo the same exact way. So it's okay to have some that are just, just have some green and brown, maybe just brown splotches, maybe they're just still middle stone. They never got around to painting the camo on like they were, ordered to. You got a lot of options to it. Ultimately, these guys will get a flat coat, and then I'll paint the crew separately and pop them in there. That's when these models really tend to come alive, is when they have the crew inside them. Maybe I'll put some foliage on them as well, but that'll be an optional step down the road. Really, I just want to get this force into a playable shape so I can get some games in for the channel. Now, the 21st Panzer box did come with a playable force, but like I said earlier, it's a little brittle. Basically, you have in the box, or the way I built the box anyway, you had basically 6 of these Hotchkiss assault guns, and they're, they are the core of the they are the core of the formation. You have an HQ, and then you had 2 platoons of 3. So that is a great foundation, because these guys are going to do your heavy lifting. These ones were built with 7.5 centimeter guns, AT-12 in game, and these ones were built with 10.5 centimeter. So I think they're only AT-10 or 11, but they can bombard. So it's also double duty as artillery. The HQ unit is 7.5. But in the formation, when you look at the formation on forces and you look at their historical thing, this company had 3 platoons of 3, and the box only comes with models to build 2 platoons of 3. So I had to source a 3rd platoon. I could have gone through Battlefront, but I turned to my 3D printer. I went online and found a pretty good model, so I built 3 more, or printed 3 more and painted them. And this goes to show you too, if I had not pointed it out that way, you might not have noticed that, that those are different. And on the tabletop, when they have crew in them, camouflage on them, you're not going to be able to tell unless you're, inspecting with a magnifying glass which is which. But that gives me, that buffs out my core formation as far as, core units. So now I've got 10 of these. They're still brittle, but that's, one extra unit that will save me from breaking. Now, the other things that 21st Panzer can take in their core formation is anti-aircraft and artillery. So you could buy the Battlefront models, but again, they're pricey. A box of like the 4 artillery guns is like $40 or $50, something like that. Some of these you just get in a blister for, I forget, 12 or 14. So again, to supplement this Army box, I turned to my 3D printer. I found some, I consider them close enough proxies. These are French half-track bodies with a 2 centimeter anti-aircraft gun. So those are going to fill the AA block of the core formation. And then they also had these funky mortar carriers. I couldn't quite find the exact 3D model. If anyone knows out there, let me know in the comments below. But I kind of jury-rigged my own, if you will. I took the rockets off one model, and I used the base French half-track of another model to create these multiple mortar launchers. And it was real simple to do, and so now I've got, if I want to, I can have all of the units in the core formation represented on the table. So, making the company much, much harder to break, which was my goal. I also 3D printed some Panzer IVs to add to as support, because the 21st Panzer did have a lot of Panzer IVs. They didn't have any Tigers or anything assigned to them, but they did have Panzer IVs, so I printed some of these. because I thought it would fit the theme. You know, I probably, Tigers or 88s or something else would be a better match with this force, but I wanted to be more historical and have just 21st Panzer themed units for this. Ultimately, though, between the mix of all the Battlefront models, this force has 21 Battlefront models plus my 3D printed ones. I'm going to have a pretty decent force on the table. And beyond the Panzer IVs, which I just printed yesterday, everyone's kind of base coated, waiting for how I'm going to do camo, things like that. And I'll figure that out. I wanted to do the Hotchkiss guns and get them complete to just kind of prove the concept. But yeah, that is the progress on the 21st Panzer. Hopefully you'll be seeing a battle report featuring these guys in the next month or two. Whether we want to sit down, crunch down, and get these done. I do have a few competing projects, though. I know I will be hopefully filming a battle of 21st Panzer, which means I've got to paint 3 or 4 28mm tanks and get those ready for that battle report. Also, the new Age of Sigmar box is due at any time. Once you see this, it's probably already out. So we're looking forward to that. My daughter had wanted to kind of jump in and cover that with me, so that will be fun as well. I am in a 40K Inquisitor campaign with the Amgas guys, which I'll talk about in a separate video, but so I've also been printing more characterful 40K units and characters, which has been a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie. So there you go, guys. That's my work on the 21st Panzer. I appreciate you guys watching. If you like our Team Yankee and Flames of War content, check out our Patreon. There you can see battle reports. I do early access release. You can also join the, here on YouTube, the membership page there. Click on join, again, to get early access and other stuff here on the channel. Again, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.